All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ephraim. Today's date is October 19th, 2022, and I'm saying Ahaya by Yeshem, Yeshua HaMashiach, Baruch Atu Adonai. All right, today I'm going to bring this lesson forth, introducing the Siddis. They're referred to as an African tribe living in India. Um, and someone asked a question a while back about them and the circumstances around them. They're getting dropped off in India, and I discerned that they were Israelites, and that was in fact genetically true. So the reason why I'm saying this is because this is why I've been telling you all, and I will continue to tell you all, that this is how and why DNA is so important to the children of Israel, because had it not been for the Most High raising me up to bring forth the E1B1A, recognizing the children of Israel, I would not have known without a shadow of a doubt who they were, right? So let's just say I didn't have knowledge of the E1B1A, and I read a story on them and their genetic DNA test or whatever, and saying E1B, it wouldn't mean nothing to me. It would signify nothing to me. You understand? That's how I knew who they were. That's how I identified them, right? If the seeds of Esau had the same exact DNA as the seeds of Jacob, there was no way we would know without a shadow of a doubt who was Israel and who wasn't, genetically, without a shadow of a doubt, from the loins of Jacob. So this story was fascinating to me. I want to share it with you all. If you're new to the channel, like I said, hit that subscribe. And when you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all so you'll be notified every time I upload a new presentation or thinking out loud or a Real Talk Tuesdays episode. And make sure you hit the like button too, because we got to get this viewership up. And force the algorithm to show these lessons and these presentations to more people. So I hope y'all like this presentation. Come to find out, my discernment was on point of who these people are. These are brothers and sisters out in India, and they call them the Siddis. So I hope y'all like it. Until next time, it's Dr. E signing off.
Today's lesson was based on it was inspired. Y'all know I like to ask questions. I get inspired by y'all. I try to read all your comments and listen to you. Right, and I ask you questions, stuff like that. And someone asked a question about a group of people. They call them Africans out in India. Well, if any of you know the history of India, they've never really been, especially with what's his name, Mahatma Gandhi, for all his popularity of being a man of peace and all this and that. He had a very distorted, messed up view about Africans. He said some very disparaging things on record about Africans. So, Indians never really treated Africans or had a really fond idea of Africans. So, someone said something about this group out in India who clearly were of African descent. They were, whatever the case may be, and asked if they were a part of the curses or Israelites, whatever the case may be. I'll post the question, the exact question that was posed. And before I start the lesson, let me just say real quick, I actually did a post on these people some years ago on Facebook, in my Facebook community, right? But I never did a video on them because they're never talked about. And when you see when you see the images and then you see the lesson, you'll be like, wow, But the short answer is yes. I always discerned that they were our people based on the circumstances surrounding how they got to India. They were a part of the transatlantic slave trade brought there by the Portuguese. Okay, and so I always discerned that they were, but I literally just found out recently, and I revealed this yesterday at the roundtable. I literally just found out recently that genetically, yes, those so-called African Indians in India, they're not African at all. They're Israelites. They're E1B1A. More than half of them are E1B1A, and of course, a percentage of them carries the Indian DNA, and a few probably like the Portuguese or whatever, if they were raped or whatever. But more than half of them carry the E1B1A, so that gives us genetic proof that they are definitely genetic Hebrew Israelites, man. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the lesson started. All right, like I said, the this question was posed on the channel, and I'm not sure if the poster is male or female with that name. You know, it's just kind of one of those names that's you know, not no gender attached. But shout out to Jalen for asking that question. Yes, the Siddis are Israelites, and you know, like I said, I did a report on them in my Facebook community, and I discerned at the time that yes, they were in fact a part of us, a part of the diaspora, the Israelite diaspora. They always say African diaspora, but it's actually an Israelite diaspora. So yes, they are, and here's a definitive answer to your question. Deuteronomy 4:27, and the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. It's not only did the Most High scatter us among every nation on earth, but we're going to take up their heathenistic ways, their heathenistic beliefs, their heathenistic cultures. We're going to be so far away from being Israelite, we would never even think that that's what we were and that's what we are. So yes, the Siddis are children of Israel. They are not Africans. This is part of their story.
It could be a village anywhere in Africa. Locals celebrating with their centuries-old music and dance. But Jambur is 1,000,000 miles from the continent, and these apparent Africans are in fact Indians whose ancestors have lived here in Gujarat state for up to 1,000 years. Known as Siddis, this tribe of African descent retains few links with its mysterious past. They know nothing of how or why their forefathers came here, but there is one thing that ties them to their unique heritage.
In our musical performances, we are like one. We all have the same musical style. It's also the same when we dance.
Music and physical features are the few clues that anthropologists have to trace the Siddis. Some believe their forefathers were labourers from modern-day Kenya and Uganda who were brought to India on Arab slave ships between the 10th and 14th century.
All the Arab traders or raiders, either way, had to bring lot of these slaves, and at convenient places they were given their freedom when the nearest landmass came.
Anthropologists believe there are up to 15,000 Siddis living along India's west coast. While they have adopted the local culture, most live in abject poverty, even compared to other Indians. Their reluctance to integrate with mainstream communities means they are often left out of development.
We have a lot to worry about. People in other villages live happy lives, but our people are miserable. So we do worry.
The government has given them special tribal status to guarantee Siddis access to jobs and education. But life is still hard.
Yes, hard indeed, you know. And after listening to that and looking at this presentation, even without genetics or DNA, I mean, it's clear that they were a part, that they are a part of the curses of the book of Deuteronomy, and went into slavery by way of slave ships during the transatlantic slave trade. And like I said, I discerned that back when I did a report on them in my Facebook community. And I don't know why the Most High led me to them, but he did. I guess that's, I don't know, I don't want to guess, but I had never heard of them, right? And I was led to them. He led me to them, and I, you know, like I said, did a post. But then when I got the question on the channel, you know, then I decided to go ahead and just do an actual presentation here on YouTube about them. But they are our people. And here's the genetic part of the lesson, or the genetic proof that they are in fact children of Israel. They're not Africans, okay? Of course, you know, they refer to all of us that way, you know, whatever. It is what it is. But we all know E1B1A is the seed of Jacob, okay? And let me bring up the hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, here's the Y DNA haplotype of the Siddis and the mitochondrial DNA. I don't know if you all can read this because I screenshotted it off the internet, but the Y DNA, the Y chromosome of the Siddis, the authors observed the E1B1A M2 haplogroup, which is frequent among Bantu peoples, okay, and about 42%, 34% of Siddis from Karnataka and Gujarat, respectively. Around 14% of Siddis from Karnataka and 35% of Siddis from Gujarat also belong to the sub-Saharan BM60. The remaining Siddis has Indian-associated or Near Eastern-linked clades, including haplogroups P, H, R1A, M17, J2, and L, M20. So, and then it says Kamar analyzed Makrani Siddis in Pakistan and found that they instead predominantly carried Indian-associated or Near Eastern-linked haplogroups R1A1A / M17, J2, and R2, with their most common male lineage. And for the mitochondrial, says according to the mitochondrial DNA study of the Siddis women, the maternal ancestry of the Siddis consist of a mixture of Bantu-associated haplogroups and Indian-associated haplogroups, reflecting substantial female gene flow from neighboring Indian populations, which is to be expected. About 53% of the Siddis from Gujarat and 24% of the Siddis from Karnataka belong to various Bantu-derived macro haplogroup L subclades. The latter mainly consisted of L0 and L2A sublineages associated with Bantu women. The remainder possessed Indian-specific subclades of the Eurasian haplogroups M and N, which points to recent admixture with autochthonous Indian groups. And I mean, and the DNA data of the Siddis are really no different than all of us. Okay, once we were scattered throughout the four corners of the world, I mean, our blood, like it's all over the place. I mean, it really is. It's almost fascinating to see all the mixes with us around the world, right? But there's no denying it. I mean, our blood and our lineages, our Y DNA, our mitochondrial, is literally all over the world. The Most High said he was going to scatter us among the nations, and that's exactly what he did, and we have genetic proof of that. And so the Siddis DNA data, like I said before, I just found this out, but before I even saw this, I already discerned in my spirit that's who they are. I mean, I can only guess that that's why the Most High led me to them, because I never heard of them in my life. I mean, I never even cared about Mahatma Gandhi, not being disrespectful, but I'm just being truthful. So to lead me to them, there was a purpose for that, right? Because I'm like, why would the Most High lead me? Not like I'm questioning him, but theoretically, like, why would he lead me to them if there wasn't a reason for it or whatever? And I don't know ultimately what the reason is, but I know that I was led to them, and I discerned that that's who they were even before I didn't even do any DNA on them or do any DNA research on them. But here we have the proof, E1B1A. So there you have it. So that puts that this presentation in the full focus and brings it home full circle. So they're definitely us, man. So I pray that the Most High have mercy on them over there, and this is why I say to my people, listen, all of us aren't cursed. I know we discussed this in the roundtable yesterday, right? But the few of us that are blessed in comparison to the masses of our people, man, like listen, we are still living out the curses. I mean, just look at what's going on. Look at the current events. Look at the injustices we go through. Look at the fact that we have no power structure. We don't own anything. I'm not going to get into the whole curses. Y'all know what it is. But I just wanted to that was like the final little thing right there. The DNA of the Siddis to kind of bring it home. So yes, they are children of Israel. All right. And so that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this presentation, right? Until the next time, this is Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying Ahaya by Yeshua HaMashiach Baruch Atah Adonai. Shabbat Shalom, elect.